This is the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Hello and welcome to Newshour live on TV. Coming up in this edition of the news, fire accident at the Ministry of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs leaves the Directorate of Children's Affairs and Finance destroyed. The remains of retired Major General Mohammed Sheku Tarawali laid to rest in Falaba District. On World Press Freedom Day, Minister of Information assures journalists that the criminal libel law will be repealed before the next United Nations General Assembly in 2019. World Peace Diplomatic Organization awards First Lady Fatima Bio as World Peace Ambassador. All these stories and more lined up in this edition of the news. Welcome back. This is Newshour live on TV. You stay with us for the next 1 hour if you can. Fire accident at the Ministry of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs has left the Directorate of Children's Affairs and Finance destroyed. We bring you highlights.
I don't know how the fire started, but as we speak, the account section and the children's directorate is on fire. I was in my office when they called, and by the time I came outside, the fire was just... So it spread so fast. By the time the fire brigade came, I think it was too late. And this is the second week or so, you can see they still haven't been able to turn the fire off.
President Julius Maada Bio has joined other mourners in Dakawali village, Falaba District, to pay final respects to retired Major General Mohammed Sheku Tarawali. He described retired Major General Tarawali as a hero for his remarkable service to the military. Hawamosire reports.
Late retired Major General Mohammed Tarawali was born in 1941 in Dankawali village, where he later proceeded to the Bo Government Secondary School and later joined the Arts Lab and rose to the rank of the first general in the Sierra Leone military. He did not only serve the military but also his people in Dankawali by providing all sorts of support for them in terms of constructing schools, health centers, and scholarship for pupils and students from that part of the country. President Julius Maada Bio described the late man as a hero who served the military and the country diligently, adding that General Tarawale has been his mentor and boss from the day he entered the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. President Bio told mourners that it is very difficult to come across such a person like General Tarawale, as he was a true officer of the Sierra Leone Armed Forces and had a very cordial relationship with his Kranko people and the Sierra Leone People's Party.
He was my supporter, and he has been with me all throughout a very difficult journey, political journey.
When I think of the late man, so many things click my mind, as he was a generous and respectable man who looked for the good ability in every human being.
Well, if you know General Tarawale very well, not being a true officer of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, a gentleman par excellence, a man of conviction, an honorable man whose wars were his bond.
One of his cousins, Dr. Sam Kagbo, highlighted that the late man was very supportive to his village. A representative from the Dankawali Descendants Association, retired Major Setmara, disclosed that General Mohammed Sheku Tarawale always used his military experience to unite the Krankors in and out of Sierra Leone, adding that the great loss of the late man will never be forgotten. Honorable Paramount Chief Ali Balasama Mara III described General Tarawale as the father of the Krankors, as he served them in different capacities. Sayo Kamara, who paid tribute to the fallen hero, said they were in constant touch with him, as he always made sure that their goals and objectives were met, especially in the area of education. President Bio also commissioned the newly constructed mosque that was constructed by General Mohammed Sheku Tarawale in Dankawali village before he was finally laid to rest. SABC TV News are in Freetown. Hawamoswe reporting.
First Lady Fatima Bio has received an award as World Peace Ambassador by the World Peace Diplomatic Organization. This is in recognition of the work by the First Lady in the areas of promoting the interest of women and children. After receiving the award, she gave her reaction to SRBC.
I will continue to try my level best to look up, to be more than what I have become, and to, not disappoint the world and work for humanity, continue to work for humanity, and continue to work for this nation. I love Sierra Leone with all my heart, and I'm very proud that God has blessed my husband, and as he is now the president of this country, and that has given me the platform to be able to do more. I was doing a lot of work before now, but the platform has actually enlarged my space to be able to do more. But I thank you for recognizing me, and please next year recognize another Sierra Leonean. Let us stay Sierra Leone for 3 years.
The Minister of Information and Communications, Mohamed Rahman Sware, has assured journalists that the criminal libel law will be repealed before the next United Nations General Assembly this year. He made this statement during a symposium organized by the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, SLAJ, to mark the celebration of World Press Freedom Day. Sierra Leone's theme was Interactive Debate to Criminal Libel and Quality Journalism. Francis Ndanema has more.
The symposium was to talk on the negative effects of the criminal libel law and the way to improve on the quality of journalism in the country. Representatives from the Sierra Leone Bar Association, British Embassy, Mass Communications Department of Forabe College, and the Minister of Information and Communications were the key speakers at the symposium. All of them pointed out that Part 5 of the Public Order Act, which criminalizes libel, is hindering press freedom and investment in the media markets. They described social media as a major challenge to journalism since fake news is mostly spread through social media. Minister of Information and Communications Mohamed Rahman Souare said he is of the firm belief that the criminal libel law will be a thing of the past before the UN General Assembly this year. He called on SLAJ to train journalists to be more professional in discharging their duties. President Sierra Leone Association of Journalists Kelvin Lewis outlined journalists that have been affected by the criminal libel law. He said some of the inexperienced journalists are used by politicians to damage the reputation of their opponents. It is the same politicians, according to Kelvin Lewis, that report the journalists and ensure they spend days in custody before dropping the cases against them. SLBC News, Francis Ndanema reporting.
A consultation with members of parliament in the promotion of national social cohesion and peace building in post-election Sierra Leone has been held in Freetown. The roundtable discussion was organized by the Interreligious Council of Sierra Leone with support from the United Nations Peace Building Funds. Ibrahim Samora has the details.
The engagement brought together parliamentarians from the ruling SLPP, the main opposition APC, and the National Grand Coalition Party to discuss their role on the promotion of national social cohesion and peace building in the country. The project, which was implemented by the Interreligious Council, was designed to enhance peace building and social cohesion in post-election Sierra Leone through religious leaders funded by the UN Peace Building Funds. President of the Interreligious Council, Sheikh Abubakar Conte, stressed the need for unity in diversity, noting that the council was established 20 years ago as a moral guarantor for peace. Sheikh Conte called on lawmakers to set the pace in the promotion of social cohesion, stating that they represented different constituencies. He admonished them to be preaching messages of peace, unity, love, and political tolerance among their constituents.
We want you to know that the future of our nation depends on us. Depends on you as lawmakers. We are different nations, different tribes, different regions, but we have one Sierra Leone. That is different colors, one.
The General Secretary of the Interreligious Council, Reverend Dr. Usman Jesse Fona, said there were reports of political and election violence in the 2018 general elections, which he said led the Interreligious Council to approach the UN through the Peace Building Funds to support their projects on promoting peace building and social cohesion. He said the objective is to strengthen conflict prevention, peace building, and social cohesion capacities at community levels. The move, Reverend Dr. Jesse Fona went on, is to address potential risk factors and promote greater citizens and community participation in peace building.
One of the most important institutions in this country is the House of Parliament. And we tell people, you are the owners of this land. For this country to progress or digress lies in the House of Parliament. If you agree for Sierra Leone to progress, nothing will stop it. And if you guys decide that we should not be on the winning side, then Sierra Leone is not going to be where we are supposed to be. And therefore we decided, we told the UN, you are so important, we need to give you the honor that deserves you, so that we can meet together. This is going to be a consultative meeting.
He underscored the importance of political tolerance and called on parliamentarians to serve as peace ambassadors. The UN Women Program Specialist Bendu Masakwai and Lady Facilitator Emmanuel Ngaima emphasized the role of lawmakers in the promotion of social cohesion. Mr. Ngaima said there would be no serious conversation about peace, unity, and national development without genuine national cohesion. Lawmakers described the roundtable discussion on social cohesion as timely, noting that election and political violence are perennial challenges in the country's political history. They underscored the need for the Interreligious Council to engage the executive to foster national social cohesion.
Staff from the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education, representatives from the Ministries of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and a team from ECOWAS have visited 417 acres land for the construction of a University of Science and Technology in Kono. The purpose of the visit is to do a follow-up to the process that started in April last year. Joseph Toure went along in our report.
Potential students in rural areas have difficulty in accessing colleges and universities because of the remoteness of some communities they live in. Kono has been in dire need of a university over the years. Most young people in the district are engaged into artisanal mining after completing secondary education. This visit by the Minister of Technical and Higher Education, representatives from the Ministries of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and ECOWAS was to capture pertinent issues surrounding the project. The $50 million project, which has to be approved by ECOWAS Bank for Development, is for the construction of a University of Science, a cardiological hospital, among other things in Kono. The Minister of Technical and Higher Education, Professor Iyapakima, noted the project is a reality.
We're visiting with the consultants to make sure that they see the site. Feasibility study done in about 3 months, sent to ECOWAS, and they present it to their board, and then hopefully financing approved and work will start.
Chairman, Office of Presidential Infrastructure Initiative, Dr. John Tambi, said immediate steps will be taken in securing and surveying the land, and the government will also ensure electricity for the university and do 3 kilometers road leading to the campus afterwards. He added the project, after approval, will be owned by the Kono people. Vice President ECOWAS Finda Kuruma explained that their visit to the land is to assess and follow up on the process that started last year, and also pledged ECOWAS commitment to fund the project and for commencing the construction next year after due processes are followed. President of Council of Paramount Chiefs, Kono District, PC Tamba Emmanuel Tochifoyo, expressed appreciation to the government and ECOWAS for such development. He said they will ensure to provide local building materials including sand and stones. This project, when approved and completed, will help many young people in pursuing their education to tertiary level, especially in Kono. Joseph Toure, Freetown.
You watch Newshour live on SLBC TV. We continue with more news items. The Ministry of Trade and Industry, in collaboration with the Sierra Leone Standards Bureau, has launched an inspection manual that will guide trade monitors in executing their duties. The newly developed manual will be used to monitor businesses, warehouses, stores and factories. The launching ceremony took place in the conference room of the Ministry of Trade and Industry EU building in Freetown. Here's the report. The role of trade monitors is important in unifying the system for the improvement of market transparency and substantiation of goods and products. Trade monitors are expected to monitor goods, expired products, contraband goods, and submit statistical data and market intelligence to the ministry. It is also the responsibility of trade monitors to protect human health, the economy, and environment from the negative effects of substandard goods in the market. Deputy Minister of Trade and Industry, while launching the inspection manual, Reverend Abraham Cisse Jones noted that it is very good to motivate and empower workers to work safely and to protect the long-term health of consumers. He disclosed that the work of the trade monitors was temporarily put on hold in order to sanitize the process of inspection, train and equip them to resume their work in the field.
This ministry observed with keen concern that there is need to enhance the technical skills and knowledge of the trade monitors in the areas of trade and trade-related issues, as well as interpersonal relationships with the business community, reliable trade data collection, report writing, understanding the civil service code and all rules, as well as the regulations and the mode or line of communication. The lack of the requisite training in these areas, coupled with other unprofessional misconduct, led to the suspension of the activities of the trade monitors on the 7th of November 2018, and this is the press release that suspended your operation. Although a good number of the trade monitors have either certificates or diplomas and or university degrees, they however lack the requirement for the job in areas listed above. Against this backdrop, the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the Sierra Leone Standards Bureau, an agency under supervision, have developed an inspection manual for business houses, warehouses, stores, and factories that demonstrate collaboration between the ministry's trade monitors and the agency's field inspectors.
He admonished them to treat their work with the utmost seriousness it deserves and urged them to be diligent in their work. In his remarks, Acting Director of Domestic Commerce and Industry, Mikhail Ture, said the functions of the trade monitors are diversified and called on them not to be arrogant in the discharge of their duties. He pointed out that as trade monitors, they are to collect and process data, ensure that prices are displayed on commodities, conduct price surveys on a regular basis, counter smuggling and contraband goods, and above all, ensure that no one buys unsafe goods through the channel of trade. Virginia Aota Koka is a trade monitor. She spoke about professionalism.
The new reformed trade monitors. We are going to do our best out there. We will not let our institution down. We will do everything that will be suitable for all of us.
For SABC News, Frances Bernard in Freetown. Supermarket owners have raised concerns that some local producers are going out of businesses because they cannot sustain the supply chain as a result of the leftover made in Sierra Leone products that are given to the local producers because they were not sold. This came after a tour of some supermarkets across Freetown by officials of the local content agency. Here's the report.
Most of the supermarkets visited by the Director General and officials of the local content agency had made in Sierra Leone products, though in a small scale. The shortage of these products, according to some supermarket managers, was as a result of some local producers not sustaining the supply chain. Ali Sufan, the manager of Foodland Supermarket, spoke about how local producers produced below the scale of their catalogue. He told the local content agency head that some of their products cannot be displayed on their shelves because they fall below the standards that consumers are looking for. The same was heard from other managers in all 11 supermarkets visited within Freetown. Exceptional case was inside the delicious Hyper supermarket at Aberdeen, where the team discovered a designated section for locally produced vegetables. Maya Kaloko sells vegetables in supermarkets, and she encouraged other supermarkets to establish sections for local vegetables in supermarkets, something she says will add impetus to local producers.
They do good back for me. Give me one freezer.
The supermarket owner gave me a freezer to keep the perishable vegetables
such as tomatoes and lettuce. I am grateful for that.
The Director General of Local Content Policy Agency, Fodiba Dabo, says he was impressed with the display of locally produced vegetables at the Hyper supermarket. He applauded the efforts by the manager, Josephine Mansare, and called on others to incorporate such habits in the drive to promote vegetable growers in Sierra Leone. For him, frequent monitoring of supermarkets will sustain the sale of locally produced goods.
As Director General, this is my first monitoring to the supermarkets. Definitely it's not going to be a one-off thing. We need to ensure that Sierra Leone produce and services are fully monitored to ensure compliances. So basically, it's not going to be a one-off thing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to capture it into our work plan going forward to ensure monthly monitorings of these supermarkets to ensure the display our products is being actualized.
He called on local producers to work on their production skills and improve their hygiene in order to attract more buyers. Suriba Samura, Freetown.
National Commission for Social Action and the Anti-Corruption Commission have signed an MOU for the implementation of the cash transfer in the Social Safety Net project. Mohamed Lamin went along.
The government of Sierra Leone instituted the first government-led cash transfer program known as EPFETPO, supported by the World Bank and implemented by NACSA. The initiative aims at protecting the poorest and the most vulnerable, reduce poverty, make economic growth more inclusive, and promote social cohesion. The purpose of the MOU is to formalize a relationship understanding between Anti-Corruption Commission and the National Commission for Social Action, NACSA. Commissioner of ACC Francis Benikafala said according to the MOU, NACSA will implement the project while the ACC will be monitoring the cash transfers. The ACC boss said they have entered into discussions and shared relevant documents pertaining to the implementation of the grievance redress components to beneficiaries of the Social Safety Net project.
And we, the ACC, are particularly in charge of the grievance redress mechanism. Within the Social Safety Net, resources are made available to members of the public by NACSA. And we are there to make sure, first of all, that there is transparency and accountability, but also where there are issues relating with the use and distribution of these funds, we can investigate and provide real-time support to the grievances that may come up and address them within the community. As you know, most of the communities are so far away from the central areas where disputes can be settled that this is really central to making sure that the project is successful, that the people feel part of it, and the issues that arise out of them are dealt with in real time.
Commissioner of the National Commission for Social Action, Abubakar Kokofele, said the Commission is committed to implementing the MOU as NACSA will be responsible for facilitating the community-based targeting process according to the project. The Commission was receiving around $13 million, but it has now been increased to $30 million. ACC has to deal with complaints by communities concerning how monies were handled and other logistics-related matters. NACSA will hire the services of qualified banks that will make payments at field level together with Statistics Sierra Leone.
And for the people we serve, the beneficiaries out there, we had little amounts of money to reach out to small communities. Now we've had a little bit of increase. We intend to reach out to all districts, but even so, we will not reach every community. Communities will be targeted on the basis of data that we collect from Statistics Sierra Leone that has done poverty mapping. They've done a number of assessments over the year. Their work kind of inform our targeting of communities that benefit.
The terms of the MOU commences on Friday, 3rd May 2019 and ends on Friday, 29th December 2023.
That report was filed in by Mohamed Lamin Toure and read in the studios by Patrick Saleh. President Julius Maada Bio has stated that his administration launched the extended credit facility with the International Monetary Fund (IMF) in November 2018. The relaunch of this program, according to the president, within 8 months of his administration, has restored the international credibility of Sierra Leone and brought in substantial resources. The new extended credit facility is estimated at 172.1 million United States dollars, of which 21 million United States dollars was immediately disbursed. President Bio made this statement during this year's state opening of the second session of the Fifth Parliament of the Second Republic of Sierra Leone. Our State House correspondent, Haramosre, was in our report.
It was a well-attended ceremony at the Well of Parliament, although the main opposition, All People's Congress Party, walked out when the president was about to enter. Yet still, other opposition parties like the NGC, C4C, and the Paramount Chiefs waited patiently to witness the ceremony. Updating the House of Parliament, other citizens and diplomatic corps, President Julius Maada Bio disclosed that his administration inherited a fiscal imbalance with expenditure far exceeding revenue, largely due to bloated public spending in spite of shrinking domestic revenue. This President Bio noted the ratio of domestic revenue of gross domestic product (GDP) was 24.1% in 2017. An overall fiscal deficit GDP ratio has dropped from 8.7% in 2017 to 5.4% in 2018. As a result of ongoing efforts to control expenditure while mobilizing domestic revenue.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, given that Sierra Leone is an import-dependent country, a depreciation in exchange rate is translated into increase in prices of commodities. This has kept inflation in 2 digits, although projected to progressively decline to single digits in 2021. In the coming year, government will consolidate ongoing reforms and adopt new measures to expand production, which will help to stabilize the exchange rate and curtail prices of commodities. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the current debt situation is unsustainable and constitutes a critical risk to effective budgetary management. As of December 31st, 2018, external debt stood at $1.5 billion and domestic debt at 4.9 trillion leones, which is 636.4 million United States dollars. Repayment of principal amounts and interest continue to choke the budget, thereby reducing the resource envelope for financing priority investment in human capital development.
President Bio told the House that the new Ministry of Planning and Economic Development has produced a series of development policy documents, including the Child Poverty Report, Population Policy, and the Development Cooperation Framework, and it is at an advanced stage in the preparation of the country's first public investment policy. The aspiration of his government, according to President Bio, has been formally articulated in the Medium-Term Development Plan, Education for Development, as the total cost of the plan is $8.15 million US, of which 4.5 million United States dollars would be mobilized from domestic resource and foreign commitment, with a project financing gap of 3.65 million United States dollars. He said the plan, which shall henceforth inform the annual budget, defines 8 clusters, including human capital development, diversifying the economy, and promoting growth, infrastructure, and economic competitiveness, governance, and accountability for results, empowering women, children, adolescents, and persons with disability, youth employment, sports, and migration.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, a fight against poverty means a fight for women's empowerment and child protection and social protection for persons living with disabilities. In terms of promoting female entrepreneurs, government, in partnership with ECOWAS, through the support from Spanish NEPA funds, has commenced the business incubator for African women entrepreneurship in Sierra Leone, targeting the most vulnerable women, particularly women in agribusiness. Government has allocated a sum of $2 billion as part of the capital budget for the Women's Development Fund for female entrepreneurs in 2019. The aim of the fund is to provide seed capital for female entrepreneurs and traders to enable them start small businesses.
In the area of agriculture, President Julius Maada Bio, however, noted that agricultural development shall continue to be the centerpiece of his administration drive towards economic diversification and poverty reduction, as the focus of his government is to attain self-sufficiency in food production in the next 4 years, increase cash crop production and export, create jobs, and provide income for the population. President Julius Maada Bio was pleased to inform the House about the rapid developments in the agriculture sector, adding that a total of 3,800 hectares of oil palm is now planted all over the country, including 1,000 hectares of cocoa plantation have been rehabilitated. 52 agricultural business centers selected for transformation, and 26 of them have received complete post-harvest and processing machine with startup capital.
I'm pleased to report rapid development in the agricultural sector. A total of 3,800 hectares of oil palm is now planted all over the country. 841 hectares of inland valley swamps have been rehabilitated. 600 kilometers of feeder roads have been rehabilitated. 59 small agribusinesses and 9 medium to large scale businesses supported by smallholder commercialization and agribusiness development project are now fully functional. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I am also pleased to report that the agricultural sector has attracted support from many development partners, including the World Bank, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, Islamic Development Bank, Food and Agriculture Organization, and the European Union.
Government, he said, has established the Office of the Chief Minister to support the presidency in coordinating the ministry departments and agencies. The office is the central hub for coordinating and supporting the implementation of the government's strategic priorities, as it supports the presidency and the cabinet secretariat to ensure follow-up and implementation of decisions. The speech was later tabled in Parliament by the head of government business, Honorable Mohammed Sidi Tunis, for debate by members of Parliament. SABC TV News Hour in Freetown, Mosiri reporting.
Well, it's now time for us to take some news around the African continent. And for the African news, a top official in Sudan's military council has told the BBC it will not allow civilians a majority on the Supreme Council set to rule the country during a transitional period. Lieutenant General Salah Abdul Halek said that the most they would accept would be an equal split with civilians. Protesters are continuing their mass sit in outside military headquarters to demand that the army seek control. President Omar al-Bashir was driven out from power on 11 April after 30 years. He was replaced by a transitional military council that promised to relinquish power to civilians within 2 years, a proposal rejected by protesters. 2 ambushes by armed men in Mali's central region have left 18 civilians dead. AFP news agency reports, quoting officials, 12 died in an accident on Wednesday near the village of Tigula when they went out to investigate a blast that killed a soldier. A further 6 from the same community were killed when they went to find out what happened to the original crew, AFP reports. Having heard the explosion, villagers went towards the scene when terrorists intervened to execute them. A local official is quoted by AFP as saying. And finally, in the African news, officials from the Ethiopian regions of Amhara and Benishangul Gumuz are working together to try and deal with an upsurge of ethnic clashes that has left many dead. Amhara region spokesperson Asimeng Asi said, in recent weeks, Amharas have been attacked in Benishangul Gumuz and Gumuz have been targeted in Amhara. Federal police and defense forces have been deployed to the affected areas and things are now calming down. Mr. Ashimeng told a press conference he warned people against engaging in retaliatory attacks. Well, from African news, we now take some sports story. Mashaka Young Boys organization has concluded its Under-10 Junior Gala competition at the Ahmadiyya Playing Grounds in Mashaka Town, Putloko District. Young Boys won the championship after defeating Me and My Boys FC in post-game penalty. The competition was sponsored by Unisadin Cargo. Here is the report with Esther Marie Samuel.
This competition aims at spotting out young talent in the Koya Chiefdom. The football gala started with 6 teams, with only Young Boys and Me and My Boys FC made it to the finals. This final also saw the display of talent by these young boys whom many say, if supported, have a chance to become football stars. Founder of Masiaka Young Boys organization, Unisa Kagbo Jr., said he organized the gala competition to identify players that are expected to represent their chiefdom in future competitions. According to him, such a gala has never been organized in the chiefdom. Abdul Kabar Kagbo, one of the sponsors of the football gala, commended the boys for organizing such a successive football gala, noting that the move to organize the gala will foster football development in the chiefdom. Trophies and medals were distributed to players and the champion, Young Boys FC by Unisa Kagbo.
And for updates on the Australian Premier League, it was between Eastern Lions and that of Bull Rangers at the Circus Stevens Stadium this evening, and tomorrow it will be between the boys of Mohamed Kalon, FC Kalon, and that of the Republic of Australian Armed Forces, Al-Slab, and on Sunday it will be between Old Edwardians and that of another club. Where with that we have to move now to the entertainment desk and bring you some entertainment stories. Dynamic Rangers is a movie produced in Maryland, USA by a Cameroonian filmmaker, Dexter Baines. The movie has mostly 70% of Sierra Leonean cast, and it will be premiered in Maryland on the 25th of May 2019. Live from Maryland, USA, our entertainment producer Mohammed King Milan talked to the lead cast David Wake Vandi, and he first asked him how was it like for him to be part of the movie Dynamic Range.
Well, the movie, it was just a blessing to be a part of this movie, Dynamic Range, because I came to know Dexter when he was shooting The Princess, and then we talked. He saw my output, and when he was ready for this movie, he gave me a call to say, Mr. Vandi, I have this role. You want to take a look at it? And then the rest is what you're going to see next.
How did you come about involving into this movie? Will you please tell me?
The role I played is Hugo James. Hugo James is a kind of character that maybe in normal life I would not like, but I like the role. I like the role. It's Hugo James, and he's one of the big guns in the movie, and he's a businessman, and he loves to get his own way, and you don't joke with his money. When you joke with his money, you better be out of the way, because if he comes for you, that's not going to be good. I like the role.
What impact do you think this movie, Dynamic Range, will cause in the Sierra Leonean entertainment industry? What role do you think it will definitely cause?
Well, I know the industry has been going on for a while, but I think we're still lacking certain things that needs to be developed. And when you take a look at a movie like Dynamic Range, the quality of the production, the cast line, the kind of presentation we did, I think our filmmakers are going to learn a lot from that, African filmmakers, and to look at an action-packed movie like that, and for people even here in the United States of America to ask you if this movie was shot in Hollywood, then it means it is put at a very high level. So I believe that the people of my country, or filmmakers or the film industry, when they will see a movie like this and see Sierra Leoneans in this movie, they'll definitely be proud, and it will bring more impact to the industry. That yes, we are now at a different level, and for those who are doing films, we have to look at this and say, well, I think we have to catch up, or we have to go above what we have just seen.
Yes, indeed. A lot of younger artists will be watching you right now. This movie will be launched on the 5th of May, definitely on Sunday. But so what advice are you going to give to the actors right now coming up in this country? What advice are you going to give to them?
These are people that I like very much, especially when they're young and they're coming into it. I was one of them before. I used to be a very young man when I jumped into entertainment. They just believe that if somebody has got a keyboard, knock one or two bars there, you've got a video, put it together, you can make some joyful noise, and then you put it on YouTube, you have 500 hits you. And don't always rely on fashion. Fashion will fade away. Stick to your goal. Focus on what you want. Try to leave a legacy. Not something that will come today and just die out tomorrow and people don't even think about it. Whatever you have to do, make sure it remains in the minds of the people. Leave that with them, and they will always remember who you are.
But thank you so much. It's a pleasure being with me in this wonderful exclusive interview program on SLBC TV Entertainment News.
Well, thank you so much, and it was a pleasure being here on SLBC Television. Thanks, King Milan.
Well, that was the great guy, David Wake Vandi, right there from Maryland, United States of America, as he's definitely talked to me right live out there on the movie to be launched on the 5th of May, Dynamic Range. Thank you, and God bless you.
My contact in the Central Drug Enforcement Administration in the United States is currently out of the country.
Sorry, Mr. Hugo. This is not a decision we can make. We operate on professional basis. And there is absolutely, and I mean
Absolutely no room for a plan B.
But my name is Hugo James. I can walk out of here a happy man just like I came in.
Well, from our entertainment desk, we bring news to an end. But before we go, the main points. Fire accident at the Ministry of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs has left the Directorate of Children's Affairs and Finance destroyed. The remains of retired Major General Mohammed Sheku Tagawali have been laid to rest in Falaba District. On World Press Freedom Day, Minister of Information has assured journalists that the criminal libel law will be repealed before the next United Nations General Assembly in 2019. And World Peace Diplomatic Organization has awarded First Lady Fatima Bio as World Peace Ambassador. But that's all we have time for in this edition of News broadcast live on TV. Well, on behalf of the production team, I have been your presenter, Francis Banner. Do enjoy the rest of your evening and stay out of trouble. Goodbye.